beautiful people. Happy July 25th. It's a big day. Blue October concert tonight. Even though I was supposed to be live in Kansas City with them, I will take a virtual concert because that's pretty much all I can have. And it starts at 9 o'clock, which we all know is past my bedtime. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to motivate me to work hard, or at least that's the plan. Lots to do today, and that's going to be my big weekend treat. So I'm pretty damn excited. All right, what do we got for reading today? Anonymous says, they will never do what I ask them to do. Our urges to get others to do what we want them to do raises a very important question about our happiness and how we achieve it. They suggest that our satisfaction in life comes from outside ourselves, from having others always react the way we would like them to react. When others don't react the way we want, we are outraged and disappointed. Life can be frustrating if our satisfaction always depends on how people react to us. So freaking true. On the other hand, if we let go of the need to control others or the need to have others always react and behave as we would have them react and behave, life is a lot easier and certainly less frustrating. Then satisfaction comes from doing the best we are able to do in life and not from how others react to us. Learning to let go takes time and faith in our higher power, but it is central to our recovery and peace of mind. Being responsible for our own lives now brings joy and freedom. Today, help me lead my life as best I can and let others do the same with their lives. Oh, this is a touchy one for me this week, gang. I know better. I know this. And there's at least 1 to 2 people in my life that their reactions I can allow to dictate my feelings. And that's freaking horrible. And I need to work on that. And I need to make some hard decisions around that. I'm going to give you an example because I'm almost got it processed out of my system. Like I know what the right thing to do is. And I think I'm just about over the hump. So I think I told you I got reacquainted with someone in the last week or so, and I was up the other night, like way past my bedtime, like 11 p.m., guys, trying to talk and coach this person through some pretty heavy-duty shit. And first of all, I feel like I got played in the first place. Like the conversation started, it looked like, they approached me from a place of concern and empathy for me, like wanting to talk a little bit more about a subject that we had talked about earlier in the day that was pretty heavy. And very quickly turned to what I think the real motivation of the call was, so that they could unload all their shit onto me. And I let them. Like I was so mindful of this as it happened. And I'm like, okay, well, good, because I think this person's hurting and I want to help them. So I tried. I coached no way different than I would coach anybody else in a similar situation, even though there's a lot more history. I was objective and fair and honest, and my honesty is brutal. You can ask people who've been coached by me in either group settings or privately. I don't bullshit. Like fucking gambling's a matter of life and death. Addiction's a matter of life and death. So yeah, I don't sugarcoat shit. I do try to feel out if people can handle it or not, because sometimes they're just not going to handle it and it's a waste of energy. But so I spent a lot of time and energy the other night doing this. And then the next day, and this is Bobby and her ego showing up and Bobby and her feelings showing up. The next day I get a text and it has a really pretty quote about it being a new day. And the next line says, thank you. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's nice. Finally, this person says thank you because he never said fucking thank you for anything ever else before that I can really remember. Yeah, the rest of the sentence was thank you to whatever pastor he listened to. And you know, it's a new day, blah blah blah. Like the pastor helped him through it. Okay, cool. So that's where I think maybe my ego came in. But even if what I said wasn't impactful, and maybe this is just the way I am, I would have thanked the other person for their time and effort and the conversation. It's just how I roll. But what I'm trying to point out here is that I had an expectation around it, whether it was driven by my ego or not. And what it taught me was that I don't think I need to have much engagement with this person because it stews up all this stuff. And I thought I was in a place, and I am, don't get me wrong, I'm in a place where I probably could deal with them on a regular basis, but I'm like, what the fuck? Why the hell should I? And I'm sorry, I'm a cursy girl today. This subject really ticks me off. I'm like, I'm not really mad at myself. I did the right things this week and trying to sort out what this relationship could look like, what the dynamic would be, because I still love and care about this person, but this person is not good for me. They don't love and care about me the same way, or they don't do it in a way that makes me feel loved and cared about. So I think I've landed at, you know, not having much interaction, and that's okay because I need to, you know, maintain my sanity and my energy level. And it's just draining. It's draining dealing with them. And it's really not my problem. Like, just not my problem. And I have to just remind myself of that. And guys, it ain't easy. Like, you probably have someone that you're thinking about as I talk that you know is not good for you. Like, they're just not supportive. They don't build you up. Maybe they tear you down. And it doesn't have to be like malicious. I'm not talking about malicious. They just don't know any better. It's really not. I don't want to say it's not even their fault. I don't think it's deliberate. I just think they don't know what they don't know. And no matter what the reason is, though, this is why I stress that we have to put ourselves first in everything we do. And this person is one of the reasons I've learned this. And why I'm so adamant about it, because when I put myself first, I'm much happier. I'm much more positive. I can think more clearly. And I just believe we probably all have some shape or form of this kind of person in our life. Like, it sucks too, because if you have this kind of person, say at work, you know, you don't have real options, or your options are a little more limited. You can't be like, see ya, Felicia, or bye, Felicia, whatever that saying is, because you have to work with them every day. But if it's someone from the program or a friend, and I use that in air quotes because definitions of friendships, I'm sure, are different for everybody. And this aligns, for me at least, and this is part of what I've learned about self-worth and understanding my value as a person. And anybody who tries to depreciate me, essentially, whether intentionally or not, they don't get to do that. And I don't think they're trying. And the problem really isn't in their behaviors. It's in my responses. So they can't control how I respond. So I have to figure out how to respond. And maybe the best way is to not have these interactions, conversations, whatever, that trigger all these feelings that are not on the positive side. Like, I don't want my bucket filled with the shit. Like, his shit or anybody else's shit. It's not good. It doesn't, my bucket wants all that positivity and all that juju. I don't have room for other people's stuff in my bucket. It's a daily job, and I work literally hours a day to keep my bucket clean and my own negative, whether it's through the meditation, the reading, the reflecting, the walking, the journaling, like the communication with the people that I should be communicating with, going to groups, going to meetings. Like that's all like food for my soul and my brain, and keeps me on the positive path. So many people are like, you're so positive. Well, first of all, my slogan is positivity is no gamble, right? Like you can't lose if you're positive. You just can't. It helps get you through to the other side. You put out into the world and receive back what you put out. So if I'm positive, other people are positive. I mean, it's as simple as the walking down the street and smiling at someone. How hard would it be for someone to not smile back if you smile at them? Chances are, if you smile, they're going to automatically smile back. Maybe there's some exceptions, but that's just kind of the way it works on a very simplistic level. So if you put out the positivity and maybe it's not received, depending on that inner work and how you decide to take it and process it and deal with it and feel about it, it could lead you to making choices about who you should and shouldn't interact with. And let's take it a step further. So let's say, oh, I have such a big heart and I really want this person to be successful, or any person, and I want them to do a good job, and I'm investing my time and energy into this person, but I don't feel like they're investing the same time and energy into themselves. Never mind even me. I'm gonna be depleted, like my positive energy to put out in the world, if it all goes towards what I'll deem a lost cause, for less of a better word. My positivity starts draining and draining and draining. So then what happens? My bucket is low, and if I don't replenish the positivity, and I do this all for visual sake, which, gosh, I could see having a bucket on my t-shirt someday. But if I drain my positivity out of my bucket, it's like there's a void. So the negativity can sneak in, I think, a lot quicker. And if the negativity sneaks in and we start not handling it because we don't have enough positivity to combat it, then what happens? That starts leading us down that road to that dark cycle. I don't want a dark cycle. I could handle a dark cycle, but I shouldn't have to. I have built my life around being, a positive, happy, well person. Now, I'm not perfect at that, hence the work, 2 to 3 hours a day or whatever it takes to do that. But this is the bubble I want to live in, and this is the choice I want to make. And 9 days out of 10, I'm in pretty good spirits. I have my moods, and it's funny because even there's days that I have my sour grapes moods that I know I could talk myself out of, but I don't want to sometimes. Sometimes I just want to have my pissy pants on and let them stay. And I've decided that's okay with me some days. It's okay to not talk, not really communicate and talk to people, or take a bonus nap, or just be crabby privately. Not isolate, not do it for more than whatever. Like, I was reflecting on my one counselor had told me about this take to bed day. And that's basically what I'm saying. She described it as it's a day where you could just go to bed and you could do whatever you want. You could eat ice cream in bed. You can sleep. You can watch TV. You could do whatever. I don't do any of that stuff in bed. So it's kind of like a healing, like a refresh almost. That's why sometimes I feel like it's okay to be in my little stinky mood if I need to be in a stinky mood. I just try to not. This is another thing that I'm learning and working on. I try to not be a stinky mood in front of anybody else because I don't want to. It's just as contagious as the positivity is. So I don't want to be that girl doing that. And I also don't want to be on the end of doing that. So this navigating people stuff, guys, is going to be one of the biggest learning experiences on our journey. I can guarantee you of that. And we can't control other people. We can't control their actions. We can't control their behaviors. We can't control how they receive us. We just can't control them. So what we need to do is figure out how to keep our recovery and our peace in mind and make the decisions. Some of them are going to be hard, but make those decisions to just not do what doesn't serve you. Like, it's too important. You don't want to be that person, right? You don't want to be that person who may be draining, or that person who may be isolating, or that person who just isn't living their best life. Like, you want to be the person who lives the best life. You know you're worth it, because I've told you, and I'm telling you again, we're all worth it, and we all deserve that. And if anybody's going to impact that, they don't need to be anybody. They need to go away. That's how I feel about it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. A very timely reading. I have a big morning. We're going to do some recording for another podcast that I'm going to be on called Courage Over Comfort. And if you haven't checked out their show, I definitely recommend it. I definitely listen to other people's shows, especially before I get ready to go on them. And there's quite a few that coming up that I'm going to be on their show. And of course, I'm stockpiling interviews in the background for when we go back to our quote unquote normal way of running the show. But the concept of the show is really cute. It's doing activities that help you get over fears instead of like taking the easy way out. That's the premise of the show. Of course, I just said it rougher than they say it. But it's got some good vibes. It's a short listen. I think their longest episode might have been a half an hour, but on average, it's like 1 to 6 minutes. It's just really cool. And they're just little exercises to challenge yourself. So if you're looking for some stimulation on how to grow and overcome some fears and work on some confidence things, I definitely recommend tuning in and doing their challenges, as well as, doing the challenge that I'm going to put out to you guys when I'm on the show, which I'm not telling you what it is. Not yet. You'll have to listen to find out. But it's pretty excited, and the host he liked my idea. So I'm looking forward to meeting him in a little bit. So lots of fun stuff. I got to go tell the whole world that gambling is a thing. It's a bad thing, and that it's impacting a lot of people. So I'm very grateful that other shows are giving me the opportunity to get on there and talk about gambling and addiction and the harm of it. And I love uniting with positive shows and positive people. So it's pretty exciting. So that's kind of what my day looks like. So I will check in with you guys before the Blue October concert. I'm going to be like cray by then. I'll be very excited, and hopefully I'm telling you that I had a very fulfilled, accomplished day because I owe a lot of people a lot of things. So I got to get my butt in gear. I hope that you guys have a great start to the weekend, and I will